evening and welcome to the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Greenfoot Rapids pregame show. It's Wednesday night, which means it's hockey night in Grand Falls. And the Rapids on a 4-game losing streak looking to rectify that against the Campbellton Tigers this evening. And man, is this going to be a big one. A couple things to address before we get into the episode really today. And it's more so in regards to the fan base. And I've seen a lot of negativity in the last week or so. A lot of people are acting like, the sky's falling because they lost a couple of games. That's all right. Okay? There's no need to worry. Every team that is a good team goes on a losing streak. And we'll talk more about that. We're going to talk about a lot of things on this show, including how you can be a little bit more a part of the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Greenfoot Rapids pregame and postgame shows. I'm going to share a little bit of that in a little bit. But for now, we're going to start going through some of the stats. So, going into this game, the Campbellton Tigers are Grand Falls Rapids. Obviously, on two different sides of the spectrum, the Tigers trending a little bit upward, the Rapids trending a little bit downward. And since then, the Rapids have kind of lost their spot at the top of the division, but they're not down or out by any means of the word. So, the Rapids 3-6-1 in their last 10. The Tigers, on the other hand, are 3-5-1-1. So obviously two teams that have struggled in the last few games, but nonetheless have still managed to maintain some sort of dominance, so to speak. Because aside from the loss against Summerside, and we'll talk about this, we'll talk about the 3-game road trip. Aside from the loss against Summerside, both games were relatively close. The game against Amherst, they scored 4 unanswered goals after going down 5-0. And that was a big thing because they still had that killer instinct. They still had that sort of, hey, we can win this. Unfortunately, just was not enough time. That's just how you'll have some of those games. Similar situation in Truro, where they ended up scoring 3 unanswered goals in the third period, was 4-3. Almost made a comeback, and then in the dying seconds, they iced the game to 5-3, and then, Summerside, hey. I don't even need to talk about Summerside because you saw the box score, and if you didn't see the box score, you probably watched the game. I'm not going to waste any breath talking about that one because it's over and done. It's dead and buried, and we're on a new game. So, with that said, this is going to be a little bit of an important one because, like I mentioned, now Grand Falls has now fallen behind the Chaleur Lightning by 2 points after being ahead of them. So they're still second place in the division, which is not anything to be disappointed in. They're still top 2, not just in the division, they're top 3 in the league as well. Sorry, top 4 in the league. Summerside now pulling ahead first overall by 4 points. Yeah. It stings a little bit that the Rapids didn't get a couple of points this weekend, but that's all right. There's still a lot more games left to go. They're on the start of a 5-game homestand, this game included, then Friday, Sunday, and the next week, Friday, Sunday as well. So it's going to be something to watch. And I know a lot of people are excited. I myself am pretty excited. And I think that this team has shown time and time again that they can rebound, right? So it's more or less just trying to find the mentality of like, hey, we can get out of this because you can. The last time that the Rapids went on a win streak here, and anybody who knows me knows that I love digging up the useless stats because that's my thing, right? That's one of the things that interests me the most about this team. The last time that they went on a 3-game losing streak was in early October. They ended up coming back and going on a 3-game win streak after that, which was pretty impressive. And that's something that you don't see every day, of course. It's hard to kind of put into words the negativity that we've been hearing over the last week or so surrounding the team. I'm a little disappointed, Grand Falls, because a lot of people who were hardcore, staunch believers at the beginning of the season have started to falter a little bit. And I'll tell you this right now. Yes, we're at pretty much the midway point of the season, or almost to the midway point. But this season's far from over. And this team's still in second place in the division. Yeah, they went on a 4-game losing streak, but it's far from over. You need to believe in your boys a little bit more. Because, yes, history is history, right? The past is the past. There's no denying that. But you got to have a little bit more faith in them. Things happen sometimes, circumstances that are unavoidable. You just got to learn from them. And yes, they at least, for the most part of these games, kept it close. There's something to be said for that there as well. You can't count them out in any way, shape, or form. We've known this since the beginning of the season. We know that this team is fully capable of being a dominant team. They've just got to find their step once again. And it will happen. They will come back. Because we know they can. It's just about finding that extra little bit of fire. And once you start one win, it'll lead to 2 wins, potentially 3 wins. Ideally, you get all the way up to 5 wins on your 5-game homestand. But you focus on one game at a time. Okay? So, the big thing is with this game, Campbellton's one of those teams that struggled. Historically, during the course of the season, the Rapids have struggled against teams that have struggled. I don't know if that made any sense the way that I just explained it. But the Rapids have seemed to dominate the good teams, right? Like West Kent, early stages, Chaleur, Summerside. Like, they got the chance to really just kind of play to their strength against those teams. And kind of lost to the teams like Miramichi or Truro or Campbellton, Valley. They got the chance to just kind of, it's almost like a reversal of fortunes. Like, I've seen that they've kind of lost to the not so great teams and they've beat the good teams. Now, historically this season, this suggests that it may be a more lopsided matchup than you think, but you look at the stats, they're pretty well dead even. And I will just kind of run through this a little bit. Individual player stats, as well as the stats, team stats. So we'll go with their goals for and their goals against. So the Rapids, obviously, with the second highest goals against in the league at 102. Campbellton's got 78. So I'm no genius, but that's a lot of goals against, or that's a lot of goals for that, obviously quite the difference. The goals against, the Rapids with 94, the Tigers with 89. So, yes, the goals against is a lot closer. And I think especially in the last couple of games, the Rapids have really started to close the gap between their goals for and their goals against. But they're relatively similar in that way. Penalty minutes. The Rapids by far take the most penalties in the division at 588. Second most in the league, right next to Summerside, 642. Campbellton is right up there as well. Not quite right up there, but they've actually got the second least in the division at 337. So they're a team who they're not going to draw a ton of penalties, but when they do, they could be costly. That's what you want to watch out for. Power play percentage, miraculously, the Rapids are somehow still first place on the power play in the division, 22.4%. A lot of people, including myself, admittedly so, have been overly critical of the power play and how it's been performing. Stats suggest that, yes, they're the best team in the division power play wise. They're 22 for 98 on the season, right? So 22.4%. 3 shorthanded goals against in that stretch. Not bad. So they're scoring on the power play. I think where it really just gets frustrating is when they have games where they're 6 or 7 power play opportunities and they only get, 1. That's what really just kind of where people are getting frustrated a little bit. But they'll find their rhythm. You just got to find that creativity on the power play. That's really where it comes down to it, right? And they've started to get a lot better at that. I mean, we've seen that since the beginning of the season, right? They've been working on it nonstop, and it's starting to get better as the games go on. So that's something that they've kind of accelerated in a little bit as well. Campbellton, on the other hand, second worst power play in the division, 17% even. 16 for 94 with only one shorthanded goal against. When it comes to the penalty kill percentage, the Rapids are fourth at 78.9, and the Tigers are right behind them at 75.6. So both teams, I would say in even recent games, they've been struggling on the penalty kill a little bit. But this is going to be a game where it's going to be brutal 5-on-5 because, again, this is a division rival matchup where these two teams, they're going to do everything that they can to win. They are both on respective losing streaks. Campbellton, it's 0-3 in their last 3, 0-4 for Grand Falls in their last 4. Both teams are going to want to get a win. And at the end of the day, I mean, we've seen this Rapids group, when they get frustrated and they go on a little bit of a losing streak, they always find a way out of it, and they're able to come from behind and dominate, as we saw earlier in the season. So they were able to do that, and I think they will be able to do that again. With this game, yes, it's important, right? It's going to be a big one. It's going to be one that I'm excited for. Well, not that I'm not excited for every game, but it's going to be one of those games where I'm going to be very excited, especially because they've been on the road the last week. 4 games straight on the road. At home, they've been good. On the road, not so great, but they're still always improving and trying to find ways to do it. So this is going to be another big game for the Rapids. We've established that they've got the start of a 5-game homestand, which should give them a little bit more leeway, and hopefully they're going to overtake Chaleur once again for that first place divisional spot. But anything is possible in a world of uncertainty, and I am fully ready for this Rapids team to come back, and hopefully by the end of the game, post-game tonight, we have some awesome technology. No, so the Heat Index Player of the Week, I won't be revealing that this evening, and there's a very good reason why. Because I mentioned earlier in the show that I wanted to make it a little bit more interactive for all of you guys, and for those who are watching at home before the games, or if you're watching it in the crowd, right before, during, or after, I want to make things a little bit more interactive for you. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be uploading the Google Sheet, and I want you to go on there and vote for who your Heat Index Player of the Week is. The player with the most votes will win, obviously, and then we will reveal it every Friday that there is a home game for the rest of the season here on out. So I want to make things a little bit more interactive for you as well. In addition to that, during the games, when I am on the broadcast up in the Flow Sports booth, you can follow along with the action on the MJHL message boards. I will link that in the description. So if you want to just kind of comment on the game, you can bring up any sort of topics that we can talk about on during the broadcast. That's something that you can get involved in as well. So I am very excited to bring this to you, and I want you to get in a little bit more involved in the action as well. So if you have something that you want to talk about on the broadcast or on the pregame and postgame shows, something that's like a burning question, right? I want to start doing the question of the game as well. Submit those questions ahead of time, and we will be able to talk about it on the broadcast. For those who, maybe if you want a question asked in the postgame, come and find me. I'm always around up in the crow's nest. So if you want to ask me something, the best way to do it, or if you want to submit a question, the best way to do it would be to either send me a message on Facebook. If you have me on there, you can send me a message through the Pro Boards, or you can come and find me around the arena and say that this is for the post-game show. I will try and get to your questions as much as I can. But I want to make things a little bit more interactive for you as well. Starting off with the voting, it's going to be very exciting, and I am looking forward to seeing how this shakes out as well. So with that said, we're going to get ready for the game. This is going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. Your Rapids are back home. It's a 5-game homestand. Campbellton's in town tonight. Both teams have struggled. One will win, and one will reign supreme. Let's get ready for the game. I will see you in the Bellefleur Tire Shop Grand Falls Greenfoot Rapids post-game show coming up immediately after the game.